There's a quiet power in the way some people speak, a kind of presence that doesn't shout, doesn't threaten, but makes everyone else pause before responding. You've probably met someone like that. They don't talk much, but when they do, their words seem to hold weight. Not because they're loud or arrogant, but because their tone, timing, and calm confidence make others feel they're standing in the presence of someone who means what they say. It's not about dominance, it's about self-mastery. And that's exactly the kind of strength the Stoics understood better than anyone. To the Stoics, speech wasn't just communication. It was an extension of one's inner order, a mirror of the mind's discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In their eyes, the way you speak shows the way you think." A person whose words are steady, measured, and deliberate shows a mind that isn't tossed around by emotion or ego. The Stoics believed that true authority in speech comes not from trying to control others, but from controlling the impulses within oneself: pride, anger, the need to prove a point. When you've mastered those, your words naturally carry a quiet kind of gravity. Maybe that's why some voices command respect without asking for it, because they come from a place of composure, not chaos. In a world full of noise, learning to speak with stillness and strength has become almost a lost art. So the question is, how do we reach that level of presence to speak in a way that earns respect before it demands it? If that idea hit you somewhere deep, if it made you pause and think about your own voice, your own presence, then don't just scroll past it. Stay part of this conversation. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Because ideas like this grow sharper when we shape them together, when every voice adds its own tone to the dialogue. Let's keep building that kind of strength, the kind that speaks and the world listens. Number 1. Speak calmly but firmly. Some people walk into a room and the energy shifts, not because they're loud or commanding, but because there's a quiet steadiness about them. When they speak, it's as if every word has been weighed before being released. You can feel that they don't waste breath on noise. Their calmness isn't weakness, it's control. Their firmness isn't aggression, it's conviction. Like an experienced captain steering through a storm, they don't raise their voice, they raise their presence. That kind of strength in speech isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, moment by moment, through awareness and restraint. The Stoics knew that calmness was the highest form of power. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." And freedom to the Stoics meant being free from emotional captivity, from letting anger, fear, or pride dictate your tone. They taught that when you master your inner world, your outer world naturally follows. A calm voice grounded in conviction doesn't need to fight for respect, it earns it. It tells the world, "I am not shaken by your noise." The firmness comes from clarity, knowing what you stand for, and the calmness comes from wisdom, knowing what's worth responding to. Think of it like an old folk story, the kind where a wise elder settles a fierce argument with just a few quiet words. The crowd hushes, not out of fear, but out of recognition. That's what true presence sounds like. The Stoics would say that the power of speech lies not in volume, but in intention. They believed that your words should serve truth, not ego, purpose, not performance. And when that alignment happens, people can feel it, even if you say only a few words. So when you speak, don't rush to fill silence or prove a point. Let your tone carry the weight of self-respect and your words echo the steadiness of someone who knows themselves deeply. Calm doesn't mean passive, and firmness doesn't mean harsh. It means speaking from a place so grounded that disrespect simply doesn't find room to grow. Because in the end, it's not about silencing others. It's about speaking in a way that silence naturally follows. Number 2. Pause before responding. There's a strange kind of silence that powerful people carry with them. Not the cold silence of arrogance, but the calm before lightning strikes. You've probably seen it. Someone's being provoked, cornered, maybe even insulted, and yet they don't rush to reply. Instead, they pause, a long, intentional pause, and when they finally speak, every word lands with precision. That single pause holds more authority than 1,000 loud reactions. It's as if, in that small space between emotion and expression, they take full command of the moment. The Stoics called this mastery of timing a form of wisdom. Seneca once said, "Anger, if not restrained, is more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." They believe that a person who can pause before reacting has already won half the battle, not just over the situation, but over themselves. This pause isn't hesitation, it's strategy. It's the art of giving your mind a heartbeat's worth of space to choose dignity over impulse, truth over pride. The Stoics weren't interested in silencing emotion. They wanted to teach us how to shape it into something deliberate, something powerful. Think of it like the old stories of the wise village elder who listens to everyone shout their frustrations, nodding slowly, never interrupting. Then, when the noise dies down, they speak a single sentence that settles the entire room. That's the kind of composure that makes people respect you, not because you demanded silence, but because you earned it. To pause before responding isn't weakness, it's emotional discipline, a small act that shows enormous strength. So, next time someone tests your patience or challenges your worth, let silence be your first reply. Use that moment to collect your power, to breathe, to see things clearly. Then, when you finally speak, let your words come out calm, measured, and unshakable. Because in a world where everyone's racing to be heard, the one who pauses first, truly listens, truly chooses, becomes the one everyone listens to. Number 3. Don't talk too much. Speak in short sentences. There's something magnetic about people who use few words but make every one of them count. They don't rush to fill silence. They don't explain endlessly. They just say what needs to be said and stop. It's like in those old movies where the quiet character barely speaks, but when they do, the entire room freezes. Their power comes not from volume or vocabulary, but from restraint. Every sentence feels deliberate, like a stone placed with care. In a world where everyone's trying to talk over each other, these people hold power simply because they don't compete for attention, they command it. The Stoics deeply valued this kind of precision. They believed that a disciplined mind produces disciplined speech. Epictetus once said, "Let silence be your general rule, or say only what is necessary and in few words." To them, excessive talk was a sign of an unsettled mind, a person still wrestling with their own thoughts. Short, clear sentences reflected inner clarity, and when your mind is clear, your speech naturally carries authority. It's not about saying less to seem mysterious. It's about respecting your words enough not to waste them. Think of the old folk tales, the wise blacksmith who barely speaks but whose every word feels like a hammer strike. People don't fear him. They respect him. They know he won't talk just to talk, and when he does, it means something. That's the essence of Stoic communication, purposeful speech. The kind of talking that doesn't seek validation, but gives direction. It's not emotional restraint for its own sake. It's using your words as tools, not weapons. So next time you feel the urge to explain too much, to fill silence with noise, stop for a second. Say only what truly adds value. Then let your words breathe. Because power isn't in how much you say, it's in how deeply your words land. Speak simply, speak deliberately, let silence do the rest. In that quiet, people will find the weight of your presence, and no one will dare to treat it lightly. Number 4. Have a steady, firm tone of voice. There's a subtle but undeniable power in a steady voice. You've probably noticed it. Someone enters a tense room, and even before they say anything, people instinctively pay attention. Their voice isn't loud or shrill, but firm, measured, unshakable. It carries the weight of confidence and clarity, like the calm before a storm or the sound of a bell in a quiet village. That kind of tone signals one thing clearly: I know myself, and I mean what I say. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-mastery, not just in thought, but in speech. Epictetus taught, first learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. A firm voice reflects a mind that is deliberate and disciplined. It isn't about asserting dominance or intimidating others. It's about demonstrating that your words are intentional, grounded in understanding, and rooted in honesty. People naturally respect voices that feel anchored in truth. Think of the old folk tale about the town blacksmith who once resolved a heated dispute in the market with just a few calm, measured words. No shouting, no threats, just a steady tone that carried certainty, and suddenly the bickering ceased. That's the magic of a firm tone. It turns chaos into attention and demands respect, not by force, but by presence. The Stoics saw this as a reflection of inner stability. When your mind is steady, your voice follows naturally. In the end, mastering your tone of voice is like learning to wield a quiet weapon. It doesn't draw attention unnecessarily, yet it commands it. With steadiness, you convey strength without aggression, authority without arrogance. A person who speaks with calm firmness doesn't need to shout to be heard. Their very voice becomes the signal that they will not be ignored or disrespected. Number 5. Avoid vague or doubtful words. There's a certain kind of respect that people instinctively give to those who speak clearly, without hesitation or ambiguity. You probably noticed it. Someone says what they mean, in plain language, and suddenly the room listens. Not because they're louder than everyone else, but because their words carry certainty. Vagueness and doubt, even small, make people question your confidence, your knowledge, your authority. In contrast, precise speech gives weight to your presence, as if each sentence carries invisible gravity. The Stoics valued clarity above all in communication. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." To them, words were not mere sounds. They were reflections of the soul and mind. A clear, decisive statement mirrors a mind that is disciplined, thoughtful, and deliberate. People instinctively sense uncertainty, and it diminishes authority. Conversely, speech that is confident and intentional radiates control and earns trust, not by force, but through integrity. Think of it like the story of the village elder who settled disputes with no long explanations, no hedging, no maybes. He spoke simply, directly, and everyone knew exactly where they stood. The result? Even the most stubborn parties listened, not out of fear, but because clarity commands attention. That's the quiet power the Stoics celebrated, a presence shaped by words that carry precision, reflecting a mind that doesn't stumble over doubt or hesitation. In the end, avoiding vague or doubtful words is more than good manners. It's a practice of self-respect. Every clear sentence you speak signals that you know yourself, your values, and the situation at hand. When your words are firm and unmistakable, disrespect has no foothold. In the space between clarity and conviction, your voice becomes undeniable, and that is how true authority is felt, not demanded. Number 6. Make eye contact. There's a magnetic force in a steady gaze. You've seen it before. Someone looks you in the eye, and suddenly you feel seen, heard, and measured. It's not about staring to intimidate. It's about connecting, conveying presence, and showing confidence without saying a word. Eye contact is one of the simplest ways to show that you are grounded, aware, and unshakable. In a world full of evasions and distractions, holding someone's gaze carries an unspoken authority, a silent announcement that what you say matters, and so does your voice. The Stoics understood the subtlety of presence in interactions. Seneca once wrote, "No man was ever wise by chance." For them, wisdom was reflected in every gesture and every glance. Eye contact isn't just a social cue, it is an expression of inner composure. When your eyes meet another's, your mind shows discipline and your spirit reveals steadiness. It's a nonverbal language that conveys your conviction, your self-respect, and the seriousness of your words, all without shouting or raising your voice. Think of the folk tale of the wise king who settled disputes in his court. He would meet the eyes of each claimant, letting the silence stretch for a heartbeat, then speak with calm precision. No one argued, no one interrupted, because that gaze carried authority more profound than any decree. That's the power of Stoic presence, using small, human gestures to communicate strength, integrity, and clarity without relying on volume or force. In the end, eye contact is not just a tool of communication. It's a reflection of your inner world. When you hold your gaze steadily, you demonstrate that your mind is focused, your words are deliberate, and your presence is unwavering. In those fleeting moments of connection, respect is earned effortlessly, not demanded, and anyone who meets your eyes cannot ignore the quiet power behind your speech. Number 7. Have confident body language. Words are powerful, but they gain even more weight when paired with the right posture, gestures, and presence. Someone can speak calmly, clearly, and wisely. Yet if they slouch, fidget, or avoid the gaze of others, their authority diminishes. Confident body language amplifies your voice, making your words resonate. It's the stance of a person who doesn't need to demand respect because their very posture announces it. Think of a lone hero standing atop a cliff in a film, silent, composed, immovable, and you instantly feel their strength. The Stoics believed that the body and mind were inseparable in the cultivation of virtue and presence. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." To speak with authority, your body must reflect the stability of your mind. A straight spine, steady gestures, and purposeful movement signal discipline, calm, and clarity. It's not about theatrics or showmanship. It's about embodying the same steadiness and wisdom your words carry. The physical presence becomes an unspoken amplifier of your message. Consider the old story of the village leader who settled disputes not by raising his voice but by standing tall in the center of the gathering. Villagers felt his calm power even before he spoke, and when he finally addressed them, his words struck deeper because his posture, his gestures, and his confident presence reinforced every sentence. People respected him not because of fear, but because of the cohesion between his inner strength and outward demeanor. That is the kind of alignment the Stoics celebrated, harmony between thought, word, and action. In the end, confident body language is a silent language of authority. It tells others, without needing to say a word, that you are composed, deliberate, and in control of yourself. Combine it with measured speech, steady tone, and deliberate pauses, and you create a presence that cannot be ignored. Your voice carries weight, not just because of what you say, but because of how you inhabit the space around you, and in that presence, disrespect finds no foothold. Thank you for staying with me until the end. What we've explored isn't just about speaking clearly or standing tall. It's about shaping a presence that commands respect naturally, quietly, and powerfully. Every pause, every glance, every deliberate word and gesture builds a kind of authority that no one can ignore. The Stoics remind us that true influence comes from harmony between mind, body, and speech. If you take even a fraction of these lessons and practice them, you'll notice people start listening differently, not out of fear, but because they feel the weight of your steadiness and conviction. Carry that presence with you and watch how the world responds.